Oh, I apologize. Before I start over to Secretary Buttigieg, I want to turn it over to the dean of our delegation.
Tap in, tap in, tap in. We here, we covering it. We here.
This entire time, and we are deeply grateful for the leadership of Senator Ben Cardin.
Tap in, because if you don't know, the bridge has fallen in Baltimore, and the Fed is going to take care of it, okay? Biden already came out and said he's going to foot the bill. You know, he already had an infrastructure plan. So let's run into it and tap in. Let's get to it. They're looking for 6 people. They're presumed dead. Wow. Rest in peace to those people if they are not alive. Tap in. Let your friends know we here live. And what y'all think about that? What y'all think about that Diddy situation? We should have covered it, but we got you next time.
And we are with the families. I also want to underscore our thanks to our first responders. They did an extraordinary job, acting very quickly and saved lives. So we thank our first responders for everything that they have done. I just really want to underscore a couple points. Our first priority is the search and rescue for those that were on the bridge. We then need to make sure that the channel is reopened. It's critically important to our economy. It affects many jobs. It affects not only jobs here in Maryland, but around the country and world. So our next priority is to make sure we get that channel opened. And then we also need to fix and replace the bridge for the surface transportation. We're going to work together as a team. I am very impressed by all the partners that are with us today. We heard from them at the state level, the local level, the federal level. I particularly want to acknowledge our federal partners. The Secretary of Transportation is with us. We have the Coast Guard. We have the Army Corps of Engineers. We have the investigators. We have the Small Business Administration. They're all here because of the commitment of the partners that work together. A special thanks to President Biden, who's made it very, very clear that he'll do everything in his power to make sure that we get the help we need to deal with this challenge. But as Secretary Buttigieg told us in our briefings, he's going to need the help of Congress in order to get things done. So I want to acknowledge our team, Senator Van Hollen, my partner in the United States Senate on the Appropriations Committee, the work that he's doing. Congressman Mfume is here. Congressman Trone is here. Team Maryland, our federal delegation is committed to working together. Senator Van Hollen and I got calls from our leadership that said they're prepared, Secretary Buttigieg, to do everything that we need to do in Congress to make sure you have the resources and the federal partners have the resources in order to get the job done. So I want to thank Senator Schumer for his call and his comments, Senator Murray, Senator Carper, Chair of the Environment and Public Works Committee, have all been in touch with us. It is a team effort, and we're going to make sure that we do everything we can to protect our economy and protect the people of our state. And with that, let me just turn it back to the governor, Secretary Buttigieg. This guy woke all of us up early this morning, so thank you very much.
Thank you. I want to thank Senator Cardin and the entire delegation for their leadership. They have been on this from the first moments. And as the senator mentioned, and I'll say more about this in a moment, we'll be needing to work together to make sure that we render all of the support that is needed at the federal level. I want to recognize the leadership of Governor Moore, who was already wide awake and hard at work when I reached in the middle of the night. We just had a very informative briefing with his extraordinary leadership team, and I was moved to see the partnership between state as well as county and city personnel led by the county executive and the mayor working hand in glove with us and with our sister federal agencies. And if there's one thing I have to say today, it is a note of gratitude for the extraordinary and courageous work of the first responders, some of whom are in that cold water right now, some of whom are from right here, some of whom have traveled in to render mutual aid, all of whom are responding with extraordinary professionalism and whose work has already saved lives. And to those state, county, and local responders, I would add the extraordinary work of the United States Coast Guard. We should also recognize that this is an excruciating day for several families who went to bed last night having it be a normal night and woke up today to news that no one wants to receive. They are hoping and praying, and we are hoping and praying with them. We are all putting our arms around the community of Baltimore, and that is true for all of this country. I've even heard from counterparts as far away as the United Kingdom reaching out to express their support to the people of Baltimore. As been mentioned, been in close contact with the governor, the mayor, county leadership, and the congressional delegation. And as President Biden has made clear, the federal government will provide all of the support that they need for as long as it takes. This is no ordinary bridge. This is one of the cathedrals of American infrastructure. It has been part of the skyline of this region for longer than many of us have been alive. So the path to normalcy will not be easy. It will not be quick. It will not be inexpensive. But we will rebuild together. In order to make sure that happens, the president's plan is to work with everyone here in order to rebuild this bridge and reopen this port, including our readiness as a department to approve emergency funding as soon as we receive that request. Meanwhile, our maritime administration will help with port, harbor, and supply chain operations. Our Federal Highway Administration will assist when it comes to the bridge itself and any ways that we can help ease roadway congestion for residents and commuters who can no longer use this major thoroughfare. The Federal Aviation Administration is even involved, working to keep the airspace above the bridge clear for emergency personnel. PHMSA, our Pipeline and Hazardous Material Safety Administration, is on the scene to help with any hazmat issues, and our newly stood up freight office is already at work preparing for supply chain impacts that we know are coming because of the importance of this port, not just to the Baltimore region, but really to the entire United States economy. We're going to be working closely with the National Transportation Safety Board as they lead their independent investigation, and with the Coast Guard as they continue operations in the water. I've also spoken with Secretary Mayorkas, who's working to ensure that all DHS assets are integrated. So in many ways, our work is just beginning to rebuild this bridge and deal with impacts in the meantime, to reopen this port and deal with supply chain impacts in the meantime. But today we are most acutely focused on the emergency operations underway and on the families that have been impacted. I have no doubt that we will rebuild together and that Baltimore will come back stronger than ever before. And with that, I will turn it back over to Governor to lead the meeting questions.
Governor, any news on the missing people? Have any been recovered? Any alive? Any dead?
There's no new information about the search efforts that we know that we still have the 6 individuals with us.
Governor, when you talk about the investigative standpoint, how concerned are you if there were any safety violations on this ship or the track record of the owner-operator? And Mr. Secretary, if you could speak to that as well, do you have any concerns about that? Mayor Scott, we also didn't hear from you. What are your thoughts on this tragedy today?
Well, I'll take it first and I can pass it off to Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
I know there's a thorough investigation that's going to be going on about everything that took place last night, the things that led up to it, and also the aftermath. And so I don't have any further comments about any concerns that we have about the companies that are involved, because there's still a thorough investigation that's going to take place.
Thank you, Mr. Governor. I think we all know this is an unspeakable tragedy. And while, as the governor just said, the investigation is still underway, all of that can wait. Right now, this is about the lives of those individuals that we are searching for and nothing else. Everything else, this team of folks will work together to make sure that we rebuild and do everything we need to do for our port. But right now, we need everyone to understand this is about the lives of those families who are deeply impacted.
Mr. Secretary, this is, we've seen now several bridge collapses happen over the past couple of years. Obviously, this was a catastrophic event, but that bridge fell very quickly. How concerned should Americans be about the bridges that they're traversing every single day in this country?
Well, this is a unique circumstance. I do not know of a bridge that has been constructed to withstand a direct impact from a vessel of this size. What I will say is anytime anything happens to any bridge, we as a country take that and learn from that. Learning from incidents as diverse as what happened to I-95 in Philadelphia, what happened to I-10 in Los Angeles, or another case that we're learning a lot from here, which is the 2007 collapse of I-35 West in Minnesota. Let me emphasize that was a very different circumstance with very different causes. And the NTSB, by design, is independently leading the investigation into what those causes are. No question that we will take all of that information and apply it in our future work.
Mr. Secretary, how long are you preparing for the shipping channel to be closed? And you mentioned supply chain. What else are you doing to make sure other ports are prepared to maybe take on some of that?
Well, the port here in Baltimore does the most vehicle handling of any port at all. And that's just talking about the vehicle side. You also have container traffic, you have bulk traffic. There is no question that this will be a major and protracted impact to supply chains. It's too soon to offer estimates on what it will take to clear the channel and reopen the port. There is one part of the facilities here, Trade Point, which is located at Sparrow Point, which is outside of the part that's blocked, but the main part of the Port of Baltimore is, of course, inside the channel that has been blocked.
Last question.
This is part of why
Last
we're
question.
fortunate to have that newly stood up freight office, which along with the Maritime Administration and all of our interagency and intergovernmental partners here, because we're going to make sure we coordinate. There is no central authority that directs maritime traffic the way you have with air traffic. So it's going to be important to have a number of dialogues established with ocean shippers, beneficial cargo owners, port operators, and everybody else who plays a role.
And I'm sorry, Governor, just for clarity, a question from this morning. It was unclear if there were any vehicles on the bridge when the vessel hit it. Do you have an update now whether there were actually vehicles?
There's still an investigation going on about which vehicles that we had that was on the bridge. The thing that we know that we also can verify, though, is the quick work of public officials and law enforcement who kept more vehicles from coming onto the bridge. They undoubtedly saved innumerable amount of lives last
So
night.
you're still looking for 6 people, and that's it as far as you know?
Our investigation has not changed.
Thank you all.
All right, listening in here to officials this afternoon at one of several updates from today as we give you this live picture out of Baltimore right now. Now, this news conference was earlier this afternoon, so at the time you heard from the Maryland Governor, Wes Moore, saying that this was an active search and rescue. However, as you can see on the banner here on your screen, tragically that has been since updated according to the employer of the 6 people who are still missing right now. You'll remember there were 8 workers who were on the bridge at the time of the collapse. 2 have since been located, one of which was taken to the hospital and is said to be in serious condition, but 6 others have been missing for the remainder of the day as that search and rescue process continued on. However, the Bronner Builders Executive Vice President Jeffrey Pritzker told the Associated Press that the crew, as they were working in the middle of the night, he says that the bodies of the workers have not yet been recovered, but they are presumed to have died given the water's depth and the amount of time that has passed since the collapse. We're not exactly sure when we might be getting yet another update, if that will come at next point tomorrow or later this evening. I feel like if we had heard something about today, we would obviously probably know that here pretty quickly, but no word on if there will be another update yet this evening. We want to step away from this, though. We're going to be bringing you a lot more coverage regardless of when that next update is coming. Obviously, a lot of questions, concerns surrounding this. And as always, thanks so much for joining us here. I'm Lexi Petrovich. It's 6:05 Eastern right now, and it's been a very busy Tuesday. We also have a live picture to show you. This is coming out of New York City right now, where there is a procession that is underway at the moment for Officer Jonathan Diller, the NYPD officer who was shot and killed during a traffic stop in Queens. He leaves behind a wife, a 1-year-old son, who sadly is now going to have to grow up without his father. A procession happening here following this incident on Monday. Let's bring you more on what we know so far with Fox 5 in New York.
I've been in Far Rockaway since I was 4 years old. I am 54 years old. I've never seen a cop shooting in this community.
Far Rockaway residents milled about Mott Avenue Tuesday, still reeling from the murder of 31-year-old NYPD officer Jonathan Diller, who had only been on the police force for 3 years before he was gunned down during a traffic stop Monday night.
Listening in here to officials this afternoon at one of several updates from today as we give you this live picture out of Baltimore right now. Now, this news conference was earlier this afternoon, so at the time you heard from the Maryland governor, Wes Moore, saying that this was an active search and rescue. However,
We got y'all, Chad. Don't worry. We're going to jump right back to it.
Tragically, that has been since updated according to the employer of the 6 people who are still missing right now. Where there were 8 workers who were on the bridge at the time of the collapse. 2 have since been located, one of which was taken to the hospital and is said to be in.
We got y'all right now. Just tap in, tap in. Stick with us, stick with us. We got you right now. Thank you for tapping in. Got y'all right now. Just tap in, tap in. Stick with us, stick with us. We got you right now. Thank you for tapping in. This is the live look. We just wanted to get y'all up on the live look on how it was. Tell me what y'all think, man. Is this crazy or what? Listen, rest in peace to those 6 people that they're looking for right now, man. Tap in. And let me know what y'all think about Diddy. Sorry we couldn't get that to you live yesterday, but we're going to make sure we're on top of that, all right? I hired some people, and we're going to be on top of things. But rest in peace. If you don't know, they're searching for 6 people right now. The search is still underway, but even though they presume these 6 individuals to be dead, and man, rest in peace. Tell me what y'all think, man. These people, it was said by one of the co-workers at the time that the bridge fell at presumably, I think 1:15 in the morning, the individual would have been in their car on a lunch break, right? Some of them would have been having a seat back, known to take a nice little nap, talk to their family members, have something to eat, and all of a sudden the bridge collapsed. Again, we're taking live looks. Tell us what your thoughts, and we're going to jump back into the news, man. Hop in the comment section, and let's get it going. What y'all think about Diddy? What y'all think about this? Rest in peace, man. Let's get to it. Again, live looks, tap in. How was everybody's day, man? How was y'all day? Everybody getting off of work? Everybody taking care of the kids? Kids just coming in? Tap in. We're going to give y'all time to tap in. Thank you for tapping in. What TV? If you don't know, we're taking a look at live looks of the bridge, y'all. This is the current live looks of the bridge. Live looks, live looks. Tell me what y'all think. Joe Biden has announced that they're going to use federal funding, of course, to take care of this situation because, you know, Biden is big on infrastructure. That's one of Biden's main things, and they're going to push that this will promote jobs. But first comes first is the 6 individuals that are still missing. We hope that they can be found. some support can be brought to their families. And once we hear more on that, we will bring it to you, okay? Thank you for tapping in. We appreciate you. We care like nobody else cares. What's up with that sound? That sound is irritating. Tell me what y'all think, man. Tell me what y'all think. Is this scary or what? I don't even like bridges anyway. I'm telling you, bridges are scary. I hate crossing bridges, man. Let's get back into the news, okay? We just giving you live looks. Tap in. Tell me what y'all think.
To their families. It's the way that all of these men and the two different lines of work, they were just doing their job this morning when that happened. If you stop and think about that, they were just doing their jobs that help all of us get to and do our jobs. So a personal note here, it's a good time to stop and think about all the people that help us make our way through our lives every day, who put themselves in harm's way so that we're able to do that.
Let them know if you, when you speak to Jesus, that that message has been conveyed.
Yes. Yes.
You know, that they are just men who were going to work, men and women possibly just doing their jobs, and that's the reality of this situation.
We heard that message loud and clear. Jesus Campos talking about men who were working hard overnight to send money back to their families in various parts of Latin America. The crew on that bridge fixing potholes.
Yeah.
On the bridge.
And Kate also was able to talk to some folks who came to the scene where she is to try to get some communication and help with some folks who are on, or the folks who are on the cargo ship. So there has been a lot of that going on. You know, we talk about that sense of community when tragedy strikes. It's oftentimes when you need each other the most. I know that there have been some vigils who've been scheduled for tonight. One of them is where Kyrie is right now in Dundalk. I think we have him. Hopefully we have him. Okay, yeah, we have Kyrie. All right, Kyrie, thank you so much for being with us, being there. So there's a vigil that is scheduled for a little bit later tonight?
Well, the vigil already happened. It wrapped up about 15 minutes ago. This is Mount Olive Baptist Church. This is only about 10 minutes from where the Key Bridge, I was about to say stands, but where it once stood. It was a very emotional service, I have to tell you. Lots of people, there were lots of people in there as well. I want to show you all some video of just that service, and so you all can just really see just how the community just came together. You know, Mayor Scott was there, County Executive Johnny O was, Rob Stokes, Nick Mosby was there, State Senator Bill Ferguson was there too. You know, the whole thing started with...
What y'all think about this, man? Rest in peace to the individuals that may have been lost. Rest in peace. Tap in. To those who just getting off of work, tap in. We appreciate you.
Support to the community, why it's important to come together in times like this. In the prayer, you know, he talked about strength, you know, why it's important just to be strong and be strong for each other and be strong for yourself as we deal with this tragedy. Mayor Scott also spoke as well. You know, he has pretty much been saying, as he's been saying all morning, he called this just unthinkable, an unthinkable tragedy. And he said that, again, we all need to come together, and we need to lift up the families that are going through this. We need to lift up the first responders as well. And he thanked the clergy.
I'm telling you, rest in peace to those people if they're not found. Let me tell you, every person that's driving over a bridge probably for the next week or two is going to think about this situation. Let us know your thoughts. I don't like driving across bridges. I try to get them as fast as I can. Let us know your thoughts.
Really,
we
the most
appreciate
emotional part of that service, the part that really got me, was that Johnny, the county executive, and Mayor Scott, they came up to the front. Members of the clergy and members of the community, they surrounded them in prayer. You know, it was really touching, really just to see that. Everybody come together and really just pray together and really just have hope for this community as we deal with this tragedy. Now, I actually spoke to a community leader who was at the church, who was here for the service. Take a listen to what she had to say.
And this is just not the end. This is only the beginning. We're here for the duration. This is our community. This is our community. And we're here. We stay here. And for those coming in, we will hear. Here for the sport, here for the healing, here for the crying show. You know, here for everyone.
Wow.
Here. We're not going anywhere.
And I'm joined here right now with Baltimore City Council member Zeke Cohen. You were inside. Just describe the atmosphere right now.
Yeah, look, first and foremost, our hearts break for these families that experience this unthinkable tragedy. You know, I take that bridge frequently, so does my wife. We as Baltimoreans, we know that Key Bridge is such an important monument in our city, and so the pain of seeing it go down this morning is just weighing on all of our hearts. But
let me know your thoughts. How do y'all feel about bridges, man? Do anybody cross bridges to and from work, bringing children to school? How often do you cross bridges, let's say a week? Just drop it in the comment section. How often do you ride across a bridge in a week?
Let's
do a month. How many times do you think you cross a bridge a month?
Our communities, to thank our first responders, to be in prayer together. That's what is so great about Baltimore, is that resilience is baked into our DNA. This is a tough city, and even when we get hit, and we do often get hit, we stand back up. And that's what I saw in this church. That's what I've seen throughout today, is families come together. I can't tell you, Kyrie, how many folks have reached out to me and said, Councilman, what can I do to help? Whether it's a meal for the first responders, whether it's reaching out to the families that we know are suffering. So many people, whether it was text, email, call, have said, what can I do? And that's what I love about Baltimore.
You know, talk more about just how iconic that bridge is. You know, the lady we just had on the air, the one I spoke to, she mentioned about how she remembers it being constructed, and she just could not believe just how quickly it came down. I think we all really can't believe that. You know, talk to me about just how iconic it is to this area.
Yeah, that bridge came down pretty quick, man. Pretty quick. One little rub of the ship and it brought it down. Let me know your thoughts. What if this happened in the daytime while people were commuting? By the way, if you don't know, it happened overnight, about 1 something in the morning. 6 people are missing, all right? 6 individuals are presumed dead, but they still have a search and rescue out there for them. And these were workers that were working on the bridge at the time. They were not just regular pedestrian citizens crossing over the bridge. It was people who were working on the bridge, and such a sad story. Thank you for tapping in. Let's get to it.
And terror and tragedy that we have experienced. And it is, you're absolutely right, it is a monument in our city. It was a beautiful bridge. But the thing about Baltimore is that we will rebuild. I have no doubt in my mind that once we have recovered from this horrific tragedy, once we have made sure to wrap our arms all the way around these families, we will rebuild, because that is what Baltimore does. And again, today what was powerful was,
I'm not gonna lie, just looking at the bridge from this optic, how skinny and narrow the bridge is, it looks like a boat like of this size can take out one of the legs of the bridge. It actually does look like it. But if you don't know, President Biden, he has announced that they're going to take care of this. The federal aid is on its way, Baltimore. Tap in. We care like nobody else cares. Baltimore, we're with you.
Do that enough. we don't spend enough time supporting each other across these lines. There is no border between Baltimore City and County. I represent part of Dundalk, and I know my colleague, Councilman Crandall, on the other side, Baltimore County Councilman Crandall, he represents the other side. And so we need to support each other, especially in these tragic, horrific moments. And I'm proud of my city, and I'm proud of the way that we've responded today.
And that's exactly what the pastor talked about, just having strength. Councilman Cohen, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. I'll let you get back to work.
Thank you,
One other thing I want to mention, too, that the pastor of this church said as well is that he said that he's going to keep the doors open for first responders. If they just want to come in, just rest for a little bit. He said that they have water in there for them. They might be handing out food and stuff as well. Again, this is all about the community coming together, wrapping their arms around the families, around the first responders, because that's really what community is all about. That's something that they really talked about during the service, guys.
Well, Kyrie, I don't know if Z Cohen is close enough to you, because I did have you didn't have your earpiece in. I don't know if Z Cohen is close enough to you still, because I did have a question I was hoping you could ask him.
He walked away.
He walked away. Well, maybe when you see him, because he made a good point. He said that they've been getting so many people saying, what can I do? What can I do to help? And what can they do? I think that is a question right now, because a lot of people do want to help, whether that's for the first responders, for family members who are waiting, whatever it may be. So when you see him, maybe ask him that, because it would be great if we could let people know that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Kyrie Stewart
Thanks, Kyrie.
reporting after a prayer service at the Mount Olive Baptist Church, showing us some somber pictures inside that church of the community just rallying around and just praying for the victims and wondering what they can do to help. So hopefully we can get that answer so we can convey it to
I tell you what, a church service, any kind of religious service, is when you see truly people coming together, and I'm sure we will see many more tonight as well.
That's right. And we continue our team coverage of this international story. It's just news headlines flying all around the world about what is happening.
Tell me what y'all think, man. Tell me what y'all think about this scenario, man.
Yeah, okay. We do have Kim. Sorry, Kim. Can you? What is the latest that you've been seeing where you are now?
And I'm going to let y'all know, we are going to cover things like the Diddy situation. Sorry we missed that one yesterday, but we are going to start tapping in because the people demand it. We got y'all, okay? Let's just help out and tap into Baltimore.
Clearly see the crash scene behind me and what's left of the Key Bridge. You can see those entrance ramps going up. Those are the concrete barriers that are still standing, but in the middle, a gaping hole. That's where the bridge used to be.
What?
And you can see that the barge is still out there, or the cargo ship that hit it is still out there, and it is still the bridge is laying on the bottom of the bay there and across the bow of the ship, and just you can see parts of it sticking out of the water, but it is just haunting looking at it, realizing that there used to be a bridge there. And a lot of folks in this area, we've been talking to them all day, have said that this is really an iconic part of Baltimore's skyline, and the folks that live in this area said, our bridge is gone. This used to be our view. We loved it. It was a landmark for all around the area, and it is simply gone. A lot of neighbors heard things in the middle of the night sounding like an explosion or a big bang, and it was so dark that no one could really see anything. But really, it's the absence of the lights on the bridge that struck some of the people we talked to. Here's what they had to say.
My fiance woke up about that 1:30-ish time frame. He said he heard a loud bang, didn't think much of it, went back to bed. Woke up a couple hours later. I imagined the noise of all the helicopters and just the noises that were going around outside. Picked up his phone to kind of see what was going on, saw what happened, woke me up. Of course, we ran out here, took a quick look, and have been following it ever since.
We got up, came here. I guess a lot of neighbors heard, what sounded like an explosion.
Sounded like an explosion. I don't know, man. Let us know your thoughts. Let's see.
But obviously it wasn't, so we came here and there was a couple people checking everything out, so we're hoping everyone's okay.
Yeah, and the folks we talked to were concerned.
Let's kill that. Let's hop over to another view. Let's hop over to another channel. Let's get it. Because I think we got a different view. This view looks a little bit better. Y'all let me know. What about this view right here? Trying to get adjusted to the live streaming. We got y'all though. We gonna start tapping in. Trust me. Thank you for tapping in with us. So this is one of the aerial views, y'all. Different view, just giving y'all a different view. Different look, different view.
And it ultimately collapsed. Now the employer of those 6 individuals saying that they are presumed dead given the temperature of the water and the amount of time that has passed so far. Let's bring you more here with Fox's Rebecca Castor.
Maryland officials say the Baltimore Bridge collapse caused by a cargo ship appears to be an accident, and it may have resulted from a power issue.
We are Maryland tough, and we are Baltimore strong.
Emergency crews desperately searching for victims near Baltimore's Francis Scott Key Bridge on Tuesday. It comes hours after a cargo ship struck one of the bridge's support beams, causing parts of the structure to snap and plummet into the Patapsco River. President Biden says the incident does not appear to be intentional.
We're going to send all the federal resources they need as we respond to this emergency, and we're going to rebuild that port together.
Officials believe those still missing include construction workers who were filling potholes at the time. Maryland Governor Wes Moore says moments before the crash, the ship's crew reported losing power. That Mayday call gave authorities the time to stop the flow of traffic both ways. But it's still unclear how many, if any, cars plummeted into the water.
These people are heroes. They saved lives last night.
Meanwhile, transportation officials say the bridge collapse is expected to cause major disruptions to trade and traffic in the Baltimore harbor, considered a major route for shipping containers and cruise liners.
Certainly environmental considerations are a priority, and so is traffic. Addressing the needs of those that were impacted, that's the focus.
The National Transportation Safety Board says it's standing by as search and rescue remains the focus right now, but they will lead the investigation into what happened. In Baltimore County, Maryland, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
Rebecca, thank you. Meanwhile, we do have a map to put up here showing you the exact location of where this incident occurred. As you heard there, the NTSB now leading the investigation. The Coast Guard is supporting it. There were also 2 workers who were rescued earlier today, one of which did not need treatment at the hospital. The other worker, we're told, is in serious condition as the search for 6 others continues right now. And unfortunately, as we heard, the employer now saying that they are presumed dead. And here we have more video showing the terrifying moments. And we do want to use this video very lightly. It's difficult to watch, but this is the video that initially showed that terrifying moment when the ship hit the bridge and when it came collapsing down. Just hard to believe that happened early this morning. And of course, now the many impacts that it will have from here. We also heard from the NTSB saying a team of 24 people are on scene. That includes experts in nautical operations beginning to collect information on the vessel operations, safety history, safety records, looking at the owner and operator as well. And the police commissioner also saying that as many as 35,000 people use this bridge on a daily basis, plus ships also pass under it to access the Baltimore harbor. So a lot of impacts this is going to have in the many months ahead, but really our thoughts are with the families of everyone who is impacted during this time. That Mayday that was sent by the container ship Dolly, they sent it in time for authorities to be able to stop traffic from entering the bridge, limiting the number of vehicles involved in what officials have called and described this as a mass casualty event. The bridge opening in 1977. We haven't had a chance to play out some comments from the Pentagon briefing earlier today, as they did address the bridge collapse and much more. Let's listen in here.
Start off by saying that our thoughts and our prayers are with all those who were impacted in the collapse of the Francis Scott Key Bridge overnight. Obviously, it is very early in the process, but I can tell you that the commanding general of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers has been in touch with the Port of Baltimore, and the department is remaining in close contact with local and state officials and stands ready if any assistance is required. Given the scope of the situation, and this is likely to be a lengthy process, we will of course circle back with any new developments from the DoD perspective over the coming days and weeks to come. Today, Secretary of Defense Austin hosted Israeli Minister of Defense Gallant at the Pentagon for his first visit to Washington in his current role. The Secretary and Minister Gallant affirmed their shared interest in defeating Hamas, discussed the importance of prioritizing civilians in Rafah, the dire humanitarian situation across Gaza, and threats to regional security. The Secretary stressed that the United States and Israel have a moral imperative and a shared strategic interest in safeguarding civilians, noting that any assault on Rafah should not proceed without a credible and implementable plan that ensures the safety and humanitarian support for civilians sheltering there. The Secretary also urged Minister Gallant to expand entry points for humanitarian assistance and address distribution challenges inside of Gaza. He also reiterated the department's commitment to establish a temporary maritime corridor to provide humanitarian assistance to the people of Gaza. Separate but related, between March 2nd and today, U.S. Central Command has conducted 17 assistance airdrops into Gaza with more than 470,000 culturally appropriate pork-free meals and over 8 tons of food items such as rice, flour, pasta, and canned food. As always, safety is a top priority when planning these airdrops. Of note, during yesterday's humanitarian airdrop, which included approximately 80 bundles, 3 bundles were reported to have had parachute malfunctions and landed in the water. It is important to note that drop zones are chosen to mitigate potential failures of parachutes to deploy. These humanitarian aid drops occur over water, and the wind causes the bundles to drift over to land. In the event of a parachute malfunction, the bundles land in the water. While only one part of the broader humanitarian effort, these airdrops are an expedient means to deliver critical aid to Gaza. As you've heard us say, we are exploring other options to increase the flow of aid with our partners, including the Maritime Corridor, which we previously announced. And switching gears, last year, the department announced policies authorizing administrative absences as well as travel and transportation allowances that would allow service members and their dependents access to non-covered reproductive health care. This type of care includes non-covered abortion and assisted reproductive technology, such as in vitro fertilization, ovarian stimulations, and egg retrieval. These policies ensure that service members and their families are afforded the time and flexibility to make private healthcare decisions.
Look at this aerial view, y'all. Look at this aerial view. I mean, let us know your thoughts. We're going to just hop out of this soon until we get further updates on the 6 people. Just to let you know, again, if you're just getting off of work, thank you for tapping in. But 6 people are still presumed dead after a search and rescue was underway and was found unsuccessful. Okay, so we hope by some means that these people can be found, but at this time it's like 16 hours later. It's a huge body of water. They was engulfed in their cars, and we're just taking a look at it and bringing it to you because we care about this situation. Sorry that we didn't bring Diddy yesterday, but we definitely gonna bring more entertainment to you. Thank you for tapping in. And let us know your thoughts.
Home station. Of note, a service member can use the policy more than once. The total cost for the Department for Travel and Transportation in these 12 instances was $40,791.20. Due to privacy concerns, the department does not track the number of individuals who use the policy or collect data on specific type of non-covered reproductive health care services used by service members utilizing the travel and transportation policy. And with that, I know that was a lot. I'm happy to take your questions. So Tara, if you want to start us off.
Okay, thanks, Sabrina. One cleanup, June through December 2023, so just the last 6 months of the last year.
Yeah.
And 12 people total or 12 uses total, and it could have been that one person went more than once?
12 uses total. So it accounts for 12 times, and a service member can use the travel transportation policy multiple times.
Okay, thanks. Switching back to Israel and Gaza, were there any indications today, because of the abstention vote in the UN, that Israel is now not going to support the distribution or the maritime port access for the U.S. and others that are going to create this port?
No, there was not. Part of the conversation that the Secretary had with Minister Gallant was one of the things that they discussed was about humanitarian aid getting into Gaza, getting to the Palestinian people who need it most. And of course, they discussed the maritime corridor. That's still going to be set up as planned. We're still a few weeks away from that being fully operational, but that will still be set up.
And since we are only a few weeks away from it being operational, do you have an update on how the logistics, how the distribution part of it, the security, what will the U.S. role be versus Israel's role?
Sure. So that's something that did also come up with Minister Gallant. Israel will play a role in providing some type of security and securing the temporary causeway to the coastline of Gaza, but those details are still, going through the process of being worked out. In terms of the humanitarian distribution, the distribution of humanitarian aid, that is also something that is ongoing. I don't have a better answer for you just now.
But just to follow up on, I guess, a question from a couple of days ago,
sure.
Is DOD going to be in control of the distribution contract? I know no DOD personnel are going to be there, but is this going to be a DOD-run effort?
To my knowledge, I don't believe we are going to have a part in the distribution of aid. Again, we're looking to, I don't want to get ahead of any conversations. Again, this is something that's ongoing. We are working with partners in the region. We're working with NGOs. I just don't have a sense of just yet on how that aid is going to be distributed once it comes off of what you're referring to as the causeway into Gaza. I just don't have more to provide at this time. Idris.
Just quickly on the airdropped aid and the parachute malfunctions, do you know if there are reports that up to 12 people were killed as they tried to go into the water to get the aid. Have you seen that?
I've seen the reports. I can't confirm those reports, but I have seen them.
And then secondly, Syrian state media said the claim that the United States carried out airstrikes in Syria last night. Did you carry out airstrikes?
We did not carry out airstrikes in Syria last night. Buddy.
Thank you, Sabrina. So Vice President Harris said recently in an interview that she looked at the maps and she doesn't think there's anywhere that 1.5 million Palestinian refugees in Rafah can go to. However, we still hear from you, and she thinks that any operation in Rafah will be a mistake. We still hear from you in the Pentagon that for this operation to go forward, we need a credible plan to protect civilians, move them.
All right, guys. Listen, thank you for tapping in. We're going to get better at these streams. Trust me, we are going to figure it out. But rest in peace to these people. It seems like they're not found, but if we do get an update, we will update everybody. We're not sure if we're going to make a video, but for events like this, we're probably going to go live rather than make videos, okay? We were going to make a video on the Diddy situation, but we should have went live there. So anything breaking, we're going to try to bring it to you live, okay? Because we care like nobody else cares. And we appreciate you for tapping in. And we're going to bring you an update on this or follow it through in another video, okay? To the families that are tragically going through this as a result of these 6 men still missing, we are here and we pray for you. And thank you for tapping in.